Okay, let's see if we're recording. Oh, Lemmy. We're in the shadow area of the retrograde. I don't know if you guys are into any of that. I'm starting to get into it. I know nothing about it. I know like fucking 0.05% of this shit. Excuse me, you should be picking up your dog's shit. How about now? Yeah, no one's around. We're good. Yeah, so you can expect conflict with people, right? People being moody, technology going crazy. Isn't there a moon coming? Like some full moon? Somebody tell me in the comments. My wife was telling me, oh my God, the moon, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what is it? A full moon or a new moon or a, what is it? I don't know. But I know this shit influences people big time. And it, maybe Nicole in the comments, tell us something about it. Anyway, so I've been releasing a lot of allowing awareness videos. I've been getting some feedback. A lot of good, actually. And a lot of people going, I needed to hear that, right? I just wanted to clear shit up. Because I think things are getting fucking out of hand. People are derailing because they're doing it wrong. They're getting some shitty information out there. Lots of it. Everybody's jumping on the allow train, right? Half of them never been through it. So, you know, they gotta keep themselves relevant. But it's not so black and white. I'm sure I've mentioned, but I'm gonna keep mentioning it. I'm gonna repeat myself. So if anybody's triggered about it, good, because that was the goal, to bring awareness. And sometimes it's worth being triggered if it causes a good change, a healthy change in you, right? Being triggered just to be triggered and to make you feel worse, that's bullshit. I don't like that, right? I'm all for triggering if it's for the right message that improves your life, that's better for you, then fucking right. Not if it hurts you and just leaves you hanging, right? No, we don't want that. And I don't think, I don't think it should be causing any confusion. I think it's kind of common sense, what I'm saying. Like I said yesterday, allowing was the missing piece. And because it was the missing piece, so there's pieces, right? And it was one of the 7 pieces for me, which is the pillars that the work. And the reason why it might seem I put it on a pedestal is because when you find the missing piece to something, it's, it was the last thing that got me to the other side. Lamb, you okay? You okay? All right. Here, hold on. I gotta put this under. Right? It was the last unique thing, special thing, shiny thing I've never heard of before, powerful thing, but it wasn't the only thing, right? All the other pillars were just as important. They need each other. The work and allowing. But people, I got excited about it and I kept talking about it because it is a missing piece. We already know the other pieces. Most of us do. It's everywhere in the mind-body spaces. Everybody has their own pieces, kind of. But you usually see the root pieces, right? But most of them, we're not talking about this one piece. And without this one piece, people weren't seeing much much improvement. They're actually getting stuck. Or they'd feel good for a while, and it was just managing, and it has to come back because they're not emptying their allostatic load. Right? So it gets hype, it gets its own legs, and then that's all people see is just that one piece. And it's a big piece, when it shouldn't. It should be just as big as all the other pieces, 7 or 8. I still haven't decided if it's 7 or 8 yet. It went from 7 to 9 to 8. Because what I do is I put things together, and then I'm like, you know what? I should separate them because it needs its own pillar. And then I'm like, you know what? You can put them back together. Like, I can't make up my mind, right? Anyway, this should give people some relief and know that when I did this journey, I did it all the wrong ways. And that's kind of how you really master something. It's by doing it all the wrong ways. But overcoming it. And because you got to do it all the wrong ways to find out what works for you. So, I would say 80% of the stuff that I was working with on my journey, I could allow fully. Right? But there were a few things that I was just not ready to allow. And everybody has those, right? The 3 or 5, 6 big alarms that are just too loud, especially in the beginning. Doesn't that make sense though? In the beginning, it could last up right to the middle. That you're just not ready to allow yet. Not even 30 seconds, right? You can test the waters with put your toe in the water, and if your toe falls off, okay, we're not ready yet. But I got a 1,000 other things I can allow. I could jump in head first, actually, right? These small things, I'm not saying they're so easy. They're also hard, but in comparison to these big alarms, the ones that follow us from the beginning right up to the end, you know what? This is why it's so beautiful. It's okay that you don't give them the attention, even though they're screaming at you. Because when you work on the other alarms, the system all across the board calms down. Right? It calms down. And it affects the big alarms, even though it's indirectly. That's why it's so genius, right? You indirectly affect the massive alarms working on the small ones. And you're allowing, right? You allow fucking till the cows come home. Go ahead. But the big alarms, if you don't feel that you have a capacity, put them on the shelf. Right? You're not failing. You're not doing it wrong. If anything, your system is telling you, okay, it's a little too much. But I can handle exorcisms. But this, we're not ready yet. I brought it to you on the plate because I don't want you digging. And you never have to dig. It'll always show up. But you can decide. You're the one driving. Right? It's fucking clear as day. Too much. All right. Put it on the shelf. I'm not a failure. Right? That should give you some relief. I got to engage in my routine every day. I'm going to work on the easy hanging fruit. And it's so true. When you work on the things that you're going to work on and you're willing to work on and can work on because you have the capacity for, it does affect the system across the board. You know how I know? well, from experience with doing this, but do you want real proof? I'll show you. I'll tell you. All right, food sensitivities, right? That's it tells you where you're at. Food, having a food in and then having a food out tells you where you're at. So let's say you have tomatoes that are like a fucking no-no, right? It's like eating lava. Your brain perceives it as lava, right? You're like, how am I ever going to get tomatoes in? But I was able to get 15 foods in. Like I was able to get bread in and chicken and, right, the easy hanging fruit. Eventually you were able to do that. But the tomato, forget it, right? But the thing is, the more you work on the easy stuff, right, this is interesting. This is proof. This is real. When you train on 2 foods and you get them in, guess what? You don't just have 2 foods in. Raise your hand if you notice this. You end up having like 5 or 10 foods in. Isn't that fucking great? You know why that's great? So you don't have to individually train on every single food on the planet to have it in. No, you don't. The nervous system calms down together, right? So when you have 2 foods in, you actually have 10, right? When you have another 2 foods in, oh, you have another 5. When you have 5 foods in, you have a whole food group that's in. It's beautiful. That's how it works with food. And guess what? That's how it works, right? It's the nervous system. That's how it works, right? So use that way of seeing it with allowing. Work on the easy stuff. Do your walk and talks, right? Because we're elevating. You're doing visuals. We're bringing that survival state down, right? The whole nervous system. We're sending a message of safety in the danger constantly. We're grounding ourselves. We're dancing, right? Even though we don't like it. When we bring in safety, eventually, the things that we couldn't allow, all of a sudden they open up. And we're like, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. It's still hard. It's still hard. Of course, it has to be hard, right? It's still hard, but it's my usual hard. It's my usual exorcism hard. Does that make any sense? Or I'm totally confusing people, right? Because things aren't just so black and white. There's a bunch of gray areas, and this is what taking action is all about. You feel it out. So things open up, and there might be some of these mother alarms, maybe 1 or 2, that all of a sudden just poof, go away by themselves, right? But usually you do have to face these mother alarms because they're so big and they last right up to the end. And then you're going to get to a point where you have enough capacity where you start hunting. And I don't want anybody hunting right now, right? Doesn't that make sense? I always knew this. You get to the point where you hunt, where you actually look for pictures of a colon that's got whatever on it, medical bad stuff on it, and you look for it, you look at it, you get triggered, you allow it, you feel it, you move on. And the activation only lasts 2 days. If you did that in the beginning, that activation could start a fucking huge fire that you don't come out of for a month. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Oh, Lemmy really wants to go here. Right? You see the evidence of it at everything. It's everywhere. And don't worry, you have lots of opportunity, a lot of things on your plate that you can allow. And even when you allow, just know you might survive through half of the allowing. It might be 50-50. Actually, it might be 80% white knuckling and 20% allowing. But that's the learning curve. That's how you start. Halfway through your journey, it's 50-50. Near the end, right? Doesn't that make sense, though? 20% white knuckling, 80% allowing. Even now, when I allow stuff, it might be 50-50. Does that mean I'm a failure? No. Because that's what you need. You need to have a little bit of that white knuckling. But my capacity is wide open. So it's all good. Right? When I go to a dentist, I can't fucking stand going to the dentist. I white knuckle through the whole fucking part going to the dentist, right? Sometimes you need it. Some people ask me for tips. They're like, okay, well, I'm going to go on a plane. I'm going to go to Europe, and I'm just fucking freaking out right now. I'm going to try to allow it. I'm going to the dentist, and I'm freaking out right now. I'm going to try to allow it. And I tell them, good luck with that. That's probably not going to work. You know what you should do? Fucking white knuckle. It's okay to, because people think, oh, I shouldn't white knuckle. You know what you do? You deal with the aftermath. The wave that comes on when you get home, you're on the ground, or you're done with the dentist appointment. You're activated. Then allow that. Right? And if you really want to change the alarms with your dentist appointment, you can do more exposure to it and have it a thing where you can fully shift it to being a beautiful thing. You can do that too. For me, fuck it. I could do that and probably shift it totally, but I'm like, fuck, it's just so quicker to fucking white knuckle through it and I'll deal with the aftermath. Like, how often do I go to a dentist? Not too often, right? I'll just deal with the aftermath every fucking time. Couple hours, I got too much shit to do. I can't be focusing on looking at dentist pictures and hunting and, right? I could, maybe I should. And it's always an option. But I'm deciding what works for me, what I like, right? So I think giving these examples gives people more clarity, more confidence, right? And I think most of you guys know this. It's that inner knowing that is telling you that. And I know it can get confusing. This is why you have to experience it and do it and find out, right? So you can't know everything before going in. You're going to get mixed signals. Right? Like when people say, well, if that's true, if I should listen to the alarms at the intensity helmet, why are you telling people not to listen to it when it comes to food? Right? So there's that example. Right? Your alarm system's going, hey, we're not eating that tomato. Don't eat it. And I'm like, if you keep listening to your body or your brain, you'll still be sick because it'll always tell you to fucking retreat. Right? And there comes a point where you got to challenge it and train it and be the adult. Right? You got to be the adult and go, no, we're going to eat this, and then you're not going to like it. Because if we don't eat this, we're never going to go move through it. And if I listen to you all the time, I'm always going to be stuck in the house freaking out. So the rules don't always apply with everything all the time. Right? Things change and shift. That's why it's like a sweet spot. You can only know when you do it and you find out. You pull back here, okay, I have capacity. All right, we have capacity where, you know what, we're able to go ahead and eat that food. We're ready now. It's been a year and a half. So I guess the general rule is the more you've done enough work, like a year and a half, 2 years, and to bring in the survival state down, the more you have capacity to challenge things. Right? But along the way, you do have to challenge things. Right? And think of it. How much challenge are we putting in? Well, it depends on your capacity. Let's say you have no capacity. How do you challenge? Well, first you ground yourself, you bring your survival state down, build some capacity, and then you start challenging. And you keep challenging by following the routine. Right? You have a small amount that you do every time, no matter what. And you continue and you build from that. That's how it works. But it's still a safe training zone. We're not going extreme. Anything extreme in this journey is a no-no. We know that. Right? So it's got to be a within reason training zone with everything. Right? One day you're going to be able to eat all the foods. Did you eat all the foods the first day of this journey? No. That's too much. Right? Everybody agree with me on that? That's very clear. But how did we get there? Well, it takes time to get there. You build that leverage slowly. Right? It's not just one way and that's it. Here's the rule, follow it to the T. That's impossible. This is what I've noticed with my journey. No mind body rule. There should be guidelines in a way, right? Soft guidelines. And then hard guidelines. Not so much, well, do this, do that. What are you doing? You can't. No, you can't do that. Because what applies here, right, doesn't always translate over there, but it makes total sense. And the only way to know exactly where that is, the training zone, is by finding out, stepping over the line, doing the wrong thing, and then you know where you're at. Repeatedly, you know where you're at and you work from there. And you keep working. You just keep showing up. That's why it took me 3 years. Right? There was delays. There were situations that would pop up. Challenges. Fucking obstacles in my path. But they all these obstacles teach you things. So right? So a person, I can't just tell you everything that's going to happen and how to follow it. Things pivot and shift along the way. I can just give you guidances, but the rest you got to find out. And with allowing, I don't want people to flood. And I want people to know there's work to do. Very clear. Don't put allowing on the pedestal. It's not the only thing. It was a missing piece. So yeah, it's special. It's beautiful. Right? It makes people go, wow. Right? Yes. I'll give it that. Right? But don't disregard all the other pillars, They're getting a little jealous here. They're thinking they're being disrespected. They're thinking, hey, what the fuck? Dude, like if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be. Dude, if it wasn't for me, right? They're feeling a little left out. So we say, no. You're all just as important. They're your kids, right? They're your pets. I'm probably making no sense, but you get it. They're all important. They have their place. And I want people to get the fuck out of the house. But I can't because well, you start where you're at and you slowly work towards it, obviously. You're not going to like it. It's going to be hard. You're going to feel like shit. All right, keep going. Eventually, you're going to be able to do all the things. And you're going to have a flow in your journey. Right? So, don't give up. I don't know the rest of the lyrics. Yeah, it's fucking cold today. Actually, this is normal cold right now. Right? It said it's -2. But sometimes it could feel like it's -10. Today is Wednesday. I'm filming this, releasing this tomorrow. It's very interesting. My walk and talks, people are starting to like them more. They're tuning in. Whenever I used to do them, I always knew guaranteed I'm getting like no views, but I kind of did them anyway. But I used to do them once in a while. But I love doing these, right? So I told myself, do what you like, right? If you walk and talk, they will come. Right, Lemmy? If you walk and talk, they will come. Dollarama. Do you guys have Dollaramas in the States? Whoa, fuck. Okay, Lemmy, I'll let you run. Hold on. I gotta see if there's any dogs around. And there is an inner knowing inside you. You know this shit. Right? You're gonna get there. You're gonna recover. You're gonna look back and go, fuck, man, I was too hard on myself. I was latching on. Yeah, of course. What? We all did. Because we want to get this done. We want to recover. The doubt is strong. The doubt loves this shit. It's doing its job. It's supposed to. It's getting you to look for the fucking intruder. I am strict in other ways, though. If that gives you any reassurance. I'm not wishy-washy. I'm very strict. But some things, I gotta be realistic here. Because that's what I experienced. What am I strict about? Well, I'm strict about doing the work every day, never missing a day. That right there is the hardest thing you'll ever do. That's fucking, right? That's the catch with me. Yeah, I like Helmut and everything, but he's really strict about doing it every day. You got me. That's me. I'm a little bit of Gordon Ramsay with that. And it could be wrong. It could be flawed. It could be... But that's what I believe. Every day. Never miss a day. If you could crawl, you can fucking do it. Right? So there's one thing I'm strict about. The routine. Right? You gotta have a routine every day. The calendar. It's Groundhog Day. Every day. Follow it to the T. The timing, I'm not so strict about. I want the routine schedule to support you. Not the other way around. It's your lifeline if it's supporting you. If not, it's another version, a sneaky way to flood you. Believe it or believe it. Right? When you're doing things second by second and you don't need that type of schedule, that's not going to help you. It's going to make things worse. People with CFS, they need that. Right? Take any schedule for any person and switch schedules for different people. It won't work for that person. It'll make things worse. Usually, sometimes you can get a general schedule that works for a lot of people, but it's not going to work for everyone. Right? That's why the routine schedule is unique to you. Right? So that you do the work. So that when you're sitting at home ruminating on the couch, right? This is where the schedule comes in. It goes, hey, bro, what are you doing? Check me out. You check it out. Oh, I'm supposed to be doing a walk and talk. So get the fuck up. Let's go. Right? It's your lifeline. One routine schedule. I don't even like calling it a schedule. I like calling it a routine. Right? If you have something coming up on a Tuesday, look at your routine schedule Move shit around, make it happen. Because what do I say? You got to do the work every day. You can't miss a day. Okay, how am I going to use this routine to make sure that happens? Right? I don't care how you do it. It could be different from Tuesday to Thursday. Just do it. But 9 times out of 8, you'll notice there's a pattern. It does turn into Groundhog Day because it's predictable and it gives you a flow. Right? And flow gives you safety. I love flow. I love predictability. I love to go, yep, in a half an hour, I'm going to be sitting having a tea, doing my visuals. I can't wait. But when shit's cluttered and chaotic, it stresses you out. And that's going to happen. Yeah, of course. But we like to have some sort of organizational flow, right? Does your routine flow? And I know that Tuesday last minute you had to go to an appointment or bring your mom to blah, blah, blah. It was out of the blue. That's going to happen probably 3 times a week. And this is when you bring out the Post-it notes, right? I love Post-it notes. They were an essential tool in my recovery. Get a bunch of different colored ones, right? I remember I swear I had about 30 posted on my dashboard in my car. People thought I was nuts when they walked. They're like, what's wrong with this guy? So let's say you got your calendar and Tuesday or that day you got some things that are changed. Slap on a Post-it note and that's the new routine for the day. When you're done with that, take it off, throw it out, move on to the next day. See, everything's there to support you. So use the tools that are there to support you so that you continue with the work and don't stop. That's it. Is that crazy though? Is that like nuts? And if you're dealing with resistance with a routine, good. That's an opportunity for you to allow something. Right? You got to work through it. If you're worried and fearful because you're a perfectionist and you want to stop being a perfectionist, maybe you should be a perfectionist for longer because that's the only way through it. Isn't that funny? And if anything, right, we're breaking the rules left and left. If anything, maybe use some of that because it's going to be effective. Sure, it'll fill up your allostatic load a little bit. So what? You're going to make up for it with sticking to the routine and bringing your baseline down, right? Like I tell people, keep people pleasing. You're not doing yourself a favor for fucking setting boundaries right now. Do it later. You will, automatically you will. Don't worry, that day will come. You're not going to miss it. Right? You're going to hit that target when it's time. So it triggers people. Oh, fuck, I'm going to be perfectionist. Welcome it. Play that role like you're used to. Do it. Right? It's a good alarm. Some alarms are good. They serve us well. Use anything that you can. If it's serving you in this journey of recovery, use it. It's only temporary. And eventually, you can face the perfectionism. And you can go in the deep end and do the but then again, you want to be at a point in the future where it doesn't fill your allostatic load too much. But you want to have some of that trait. That's a good trait. Maybe not to the extent that you were at before. Okay. But you got to find a balance with that too. Right? Like people pleasing. For me, I'm working on that still. I didn't even know it was a problem for me. Fuck, it was. It was a big problem throughout my whole life. So I'm kind of going a little bit on the opposite. Right? Which feels good. It feels appropriate. But I don't want to be a prick all my life either. I'm going to find that balance that feels good. As long as I'm aware with myself, yeah, I'm going to do this thing that I don't want to do. But I'm aware of it. It cancels it out. We're good. We're good to go. As long as you're aware of it and you feel the feelings, you empty that allostatic load, you're good to go. Right? But there's fear triggered to all these things that if I don't do this, then my old self will come through and I will be sick again and I will fail. And this is where the doubt comes in. Because the doubt is gnarly. Right? It throws everything in your face. And you know what? It's always going to throw everything in your face constantly. So, give yourself a little break. Is a big gray area. It's not so black and white. But do the work every day. You're going to float through this. If you're too rigid, you're going to sink. And if you want rigidity, okay. Listen to me when I say do the work every day and never miss a day. There you go. There, that's hard. It is hard. Do that. Put that in your pipe and fucking smoke it. Right? Bring it to the bank. I don't know. What do? You smoke it and you bring it to the bank? I don't know. What's the saying? You can bet the bank, or I'll bet the farm on the farm and the bank. What am I talking about? What are you talking about? I don't know. I'm just floating through like a cork in water. That's a shit song. I could do better than that. I'm floating through like a cork in water. Not so good. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Go to the van. Go to the truck. Good talk. Get out there. Get uncomfortable. Please like, share, and subscribe. And tune in for tomorrow's video. All right, how do you